plan for the future. What is that? All right? I want to be less vulnerable to illness and injury as I get older. My mother died of cancer in March. She had depression. She probably didn't eat, she didn't have a weight issue. My mother, toward the end, wasn't eating enough food because she wanted to be really skinny, so she wasn't getting enough nutrients. She also smoked for 30 years, which was certainly a problem, part of the reason why she died of lung cancer, of course. But she had Parkinson's, she had some other things as well that made her situation much worse. My mother would still be here today if she had made healthy choices when she was healthy. Mm-hmm. She'd still be here. You know, I don't know. I mean, there's a kid that I met recently at the beach. He was on 4 medications. We heard about a gentleman today who was on 9 medications. Those medications are gone. All right? They're not a victim. You know, they've taken some action in their life, and they're just different people. So those are the things that the reason why I work out every day. I want health, I want fitness, I want the quality of my life, and I want to be less vulnerable to illness and injury, and I have accountability in my life for the people I work out with. So I rarely miss workouts. The reason why a lot of folks, their purpose is no good is because they care too much about what other people think of them, and they're using things that they put in their mouth to get smaller later. All right? Who's ever suffered from that phenomenon? Nutrisystem, who's done it before? Raise your arms, leave your arms up in the air. How'd that work out for you? Right? A lot of celebrities getting paid lots of money on your TV telling you how awesome it is. Right? Monavie, is there a workout program with Monavie? You aware of it? No. Right? It's a beverage with some acai bean berries in it. All right? 1 or 2-dimensional, myopic ways of companies that care more about their profits than they do their products. You care more about results. So, you have to find a reason why. And how do you do it? You get with like-minded people. You are the 5 people you hang around the most. That's who you are. I hang around with psychos. Psychos. They're all psycho. Right? I mean, it's all we talk about. Dude, I got to push you. Will you put your hands on a hypodermic needle? And you put your feet in the mouth of an alligator. And then you kick the alligator in the eye, take the needle, you know, I mean... All right, another thing too. Get out of the house, man. I mean, once you have this amazing body, go rock climb, go run, go do a 10K, a 5K, a half marathon. You know, get out of the house, find a group of people who will do something cool. You know, start taking dance lessons, you know, intramural naked ping pong tournaments. Sign up today, because it's one tomorrow. Right here in the hallway. Okay? Looking better is great. I love having a 6-pack. I love being striated and having, you know, big vascular in my arms. But trust me, man, if that's the only reason why, there's a very good likelihood that you're going to get that way for a short period of time, and you're going to go back to the place that you were before, and there's nothing worse than knowing better and doing nothing about it. It's just a nightmare. So don't let that happen to you. If you do it for the right reasons, your mind, body, and spirit will improve. It's not just physical, it's mental and emotional. The Harvard Business Review did a study recently about the effects of physical activity on a person's life, mostly CEOs of big corporations and how they ran those corporations. Well, they discovered that when these CEOs and presidents exercised regularly, it trickled down into the entire company. And they found out that these companies were successful not because of intellect, not because of the brain power within the company to help it grow. It was because it started with a foundation of physical fitness first. These guys from Harvard came up with this. All these brainiacs discovered that being a musclehead is how you really become successful in the end. And that's also how you build your business. You cannot be 55 pounds overweight and share fitness products. You look like right? So you got to walk the talk. And when you walk the talk, you have the energy and desire to be enthusiastic about something that's going to help other people. But if you're constantly in that struggle because you're trying to look good at a wedding or something, then that's not a good reason why. Everybody get that? Makes sense? Physical, mental, emotional, and even spiritual at the very top. Next, reality. It's a 2-part here. The truth will set you free. This is a tricky one for me to talk about sometimes because we get into sort of people's brains and how they operate from day to day. You know, stop lying, living in the past, in the future, and for other people. Has anyone ever lived in the past, in the future, for other people? Raise your hand. If your hand isn't up, you're a liar. Already, you're breaking the first rule. I certainly have. My whole life, a vast majority of my first 40 years on this planet, I was reminiscing about the good old days, that I was focusing on, how I'm going to be this rock star when I wasn't doing anything about it because I was saying no to everything in my life. All right? And I was trying to just make sure everybody around me was happy. And I was neglecting myself. So the reality is, just tell people what you're doing. I love it when I meet with somebody, and they've been doing P90X like 8 rounds, and they're still 45 pounds overweight. And I talk to them, and I say, I'm trying to suss out what the issue is. I'm going, hey man, the P90X just isn't working for me. Well, are you working out all the time? Yeah. I'm over here because they can't look me in the eyes, because the reality is that they can't just tell the truth. I had salad for lunch. What was in the salad? Dressing. What was in the salad? There's some bacon bits in there. Blue cheese. So it's okay that you're not perfect now. It's okay that you struggle. It's okay that you're a human being. But I'm telling you, man, the minute you fess up to your reality, then things are going to begin to change. Because we do live in the past, and we do live in the future, and we live for other people. If you really to have success, you have to figure out what you want in this world and be truthful that there's a struggle throughout the process. Because so often, we try to go around with the best face, right? How you doing? Awesome! Great! The kid's awesome! Work great! Yeah, I know I'm 80 pounds overweight. And I wasn't 3 months ago. Because it ain't great, and you can't hide it, because people know. Like we walk around thinking nobody notices. Everybody notices. All right? So, know the difference between the truth and your fantasy version of it. Okay? Accept who you are right now and keep moving. I sound like the guy from SNL, isn't he? You're all right, and everything's all right, and about you all right. Don't let your ego ruin your life. A lot of times, the reason why a lot of folks are overweight and overwhelmed is because they live in an ego world. They live in this place where it's all about them, and it's nothing but frustration and anxiety and craziness, and they have crazy people in their lives, and everybody's always talking, pointing fingers in that whole 9 yards, So get around a bunch of people that are fired up and doing something, and not just sitting around saying no and blaming other people. We all know people like that in our lives, right? Right? I mean, aren't there tons of people like that? So get rid of it. Or just don't talk to them as often. Stop lying. Stop lying about your situation. Just tell the truth. I know that's kind of like, right? But it really, really does make a huge difference when it comes to your ability to move forward and make for a better life. Reality part 2. Choose workouts that target your strengths and weaknesses. You're either an ectomorph, a mesomorph, or an endomorph. We know the difference between those 3 things? Anybody? Ectomorph are skinny people. We hate them. Is that your 12th cheeseburger, bro? What do you weigh, like 104 pounds? We hate that person. Just, their parents made love and made a skinny person. It's just this, This is what it is. That's reality. You can't change it. It's just who they are. Some people are mesomorphs. A mesomorph is this person that's naturally big, right? They look at a jelly bean and plonk. Slow metabolism, it's just the nature of the beast. Can you change it? You can't change a mesomorph into an ectomorph. And then there's hold on. Endomorph is big people. Mesomorph are people that, they lift one weight. They're huge. Like professional athletes, the vast majority of professional athletes are mesomorphs. They're just, they leap through the sky, they're super strong, they're super fast, they were that way when they were born. But, you look at professional athletes, after they stop doing whatever they're doing, they blow up, they get big, and they die within, in their 60s. Because they've had these natural physical abilities, and they've also, can eat whatever they want when they stop, doing what they're doing for 6 or 7 days a week. So in the end, reality will get you. So the goal here is, like I write, thanks, Mom and Dad. You are one of these 3 things, and you work with what you have. Stop trying to be something else. Focus on what matters, not what people think of you. Right? Grow fit and healthy gracefully. There's things that I can't do now that I'm 52. I can't run fast anymore. My right hamstring pops every time I try to be a superhero on a track. This won't work. So I'm better at yoga. I'm better at push-ups. I'm better at, I can climb a 25-foot rope upside down. Couldn't do that when I was 25, So I focus on the kinds of workouts that work for me. If you're doing insanity and you're 27 years old, you're going to do really well. Insanity is going to be tough in your 50s. Something might go, unless you're super focused and you're really working on your form, because that's intense, man. Why do you think they called it insanity? They didn't call it, casual.
That's the senior
Some
version.
teams do. Come on. Man, I mean, that thing will burn a ton of calories, get you in super fit shape. But is it right for you? Is P90X right for you? Maybe it's not. Maybe you need to have a Brazilian butt. We got it all. Pick one, you know. You can change your reality through health and fitness. You are not your parents if you do the opposite of what your parents did. Big article in Time magazine about 3 months ago. You can change your DNA. You can change everything about who you are when you change what you eat and you start exercising 6 days a week. Jack LaLanne is 95 years old. His parents died in their 70s. What up? How come he didn't die when they died? Different, same. They had whoop whoop and he's not. He is, I apologize. Honey, it's okay. It's really not. All right? The man is 95 years old because he works out 2 hours a day and eats nothing but, you know, vegetables in a strainer. You know, I mean, this is what he started with when he was like 2 years old. So, you know, you can change your reality based on what you do. But then you have to also accept the fact that, you know, there are certain aspects of who you are that, you know, cannot be changed. And so you find that middle ground and life is good. Sport, plain and simple. Who here does a sport outside of their indoor workouts that they didn't do before P90X, but now they are because they have that confidence? Fun, right? Who has a regular outside of the house thing to do? Even if you're mountain biking or rock climbing or like that, you know, that intramural ping pong we talked about. Who here does not? It's just not their thing. You're not in team sports. They don't want to do softball. Raise your hand if you're not there. If you're now, keep your hand up if you're struggling with your fitness in general and you don't do that. Does that make sense? Times squared, the pi root of 3 equals. Right, so it's not a bad idea to go outside and try something new. You use this newfound body of yours and go out and meet more really cool, like-minded people. 2 examples that I have. There was an extreme ski camp that I got invited to years and years and years ago. And for 4 years, I blew it off. Because I thought, well, they're going to jump off cliffs and do backflips and do these crazy things, and I'm sure to die, you know. And so finally, I just said, I am tired of being fearful about this thing. And of course, I called up the people that ran it, and I asked about 45,000 questions. All right, now what kind of skis, what kind of hat, what kind of clothes, what kind of underwear should I wear? Are you going fast? Is there people that speak English? Is there all And so, you know, once I quelled all my fears, I went. And the very first run, I go up, and I know one guy running the camp. That's it, the guy who runs it. He's my brother-in-law's best friend. And all strangers. I was up in Canada. I drove, you know, from the States across the border, strip search, the whole 9 yards, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm scared before I even crossed the border. And the first day, I get up there, and everybody bolts down the mountain. Why am I here? I knew I shouldn't have come. And so I try to catch up. I get lost. I hit a cat track. I don't know what a cat track is. It's sort of this flat spot in the mountain. And I went, I'm not supposed to be up in the air, but I am. I hope I come down soon. Right? I tweak my wrist, and I just think, oh, I knew it. All my fears were for good reason. I get to lunch, right? I'm just getting there, and I run a couple other guys. It's your first time? Yeah, man, I'm really scared. Me too. Let's hang out, you know. By Sunday, it was the greatest thing I had ever done. And I've been going now, I've been to 14 of these camps. Wow. And I have an entire group of friends. One lives in New York, one lives in Seattle, one lives in Idaho. Yeah! Idaho! Let's hear it for Idaho! They got a great football team. It is.
Let's not go there.
Anyway. We all love each other regardless of some funky state of it. All right, so I have this like-minded group of guys, and we get together. We're going to Chamonix, we're going to France, and by the way, anybody who wants to come, I'm going to Chamonix in March. You're all welcome. So we're going to do a little yoga retreat and ski retreat. I would never go to Chamonix, France, and ski if it wasn't for these guys. They said, let's go, so we're going to go. And I've been to 11 of these camps, and every year we get together, we do at least 2 trips. And I am infinitely, at 52, a much better skier than I was back then because my balance is better, my coordination, my stamina, my agility, my endurance, my skill level has gone through the roof. You know, I'm not into competition, some people are. But then again, you know, we do race each other down the hill. So, look at me, it's funny. They're all back there.
Yeah, there you go.
You get to be my age, you can go faster, right? So,